Welcome back to our podcast, Silent Issues. I'm Christina.
And I'm Tisha. Today we're going to discuss our biggest fears and phobias. So for like many people in the world, we all have different fears and phobias. But I've come to realize that many of them come from experiences in life. So like for me, a big one I have is about water bugs. Now, if you're not from New York City, you may not know what a real water bug is. You may think you know until you look them up. But these are big flying roaches, and I mean big, that fly and have no respect, and they will come at you and not even hesitate at all. So when I was a kid, I remember my grandma's apartment had these big old water bugs on the ceiling. And my dad, who, for me, he was big. He's like 6 foot. So I'm a little girl, and he's telling me and my brother, get in the room, as he's trying to beat them to kill the water bugs. And so I think that helped with my fear of them. Like, well, if my dad's scared of them or telling me to get away, they must be bad. So I have a really big fear of them. So when I was a kid, they scared me. And as I got older, it did not get any better. I was still scared of them. I mean, there was a point where my youngest son was like 2 weeks old, and there was one flying in the house. And I left it was an apartment building, people, and my parents lived next door to me. So when I say I left him, it wasn't like I left him. But I ran out the apartment and I left him, and I got my mother, and she's like, where's Ty? And I'm like, he's in the house. He's fine. He's a baby. He don't know nothing about this. Like, it's not going to hurt him. It's hurting me. So they had to come in and get it. But because of that fear with water bugs, it has gone into where I'm scared of lanternflies and stink bugs because they remind me of them. They don't have no respect neither. They come right at you. And so, like, if I see a stink bug or a lanternfly, like, come by me, I feel like I go into a panic. I don't see water bugs out in PA, but so I don't have that. So it's the lanternflies and stink bugs now. But I can't even watch a bug commercial with the roaches or water bugs going across. It freaks me out. But like lanternflies, you've seen it with me. I have a panic attack. If I'm in a room with a stink bug and I feel like I can't get out, and it's like, she just messed with me, guys. Yeah, I don't know. She just looked up at the ceiling, and she knows how once somebody looks at the ceiling, I start like, what happened? So right away, she just did that. And my mind now my heart is racing, just for you guys to know. And I'm like stressing because I'm like, okay, is there something in this room with us? But I'm going to assume there's not. She's not setting me up. But I hate when people do that because I start having anxiety and panic attacks. Like, I legit will start crying and freaking the hell out because I think that I'm trapped with this. Which the trapping goes into another fear and phobia, but I'm going to give Christina a moment to talk about hers a little bit because it's bug related too.
It is. It's the spiders. I think I have arachnophobia. It's not bad. Like,
oh, it's bad, guys. She's lying.
I just don't like spiders at all. Like, I'll leave the room, like she said, and stuff like that. It just, I don't really know where it came from.
Oh, I know where it came from.
It's very bad.
So she says she doesn't remember this, but I know this. When she was little, probably like 3 or 4, maybe 2. I don't think it was 2. I think it was like 3 or 4. I sat down, me and her watched Arachnophobia, the movie, together. And though she didn't show any fear then of it, it obviously stayed in her head, and it triggered her because she hates spiders. And she hates them. Don't let her fool you. She hates them like I hate water bugs, lanternflies, and stink bugs, because she stayed at my house before and there was spiders outside the window. Okay. And she couldn't sleep because she saw the shadows of the spiders outside.
The shadows are very big.
Oh, they are, because when it's caught on our camera, they look huge. You would die if you saw the videos we have of spider shadows. I agree, they look big, but these were tiny, whiny spiders.
I thought they were inside.
See? And she couldn't sleep, and she was having anxiety and panic attacks. So her fear of spiders came from watching that movie. And like I said, my fear of water bugs came from seeing my father, telling us to run from them. But like another one with me that deals with a movie is birds. I have a fear of birds. Now, birds, I can look at least. Birds don't scare me to look at. It's when birds start flying over me. And I notice I have a thing with things flying over me because I feel like they have the advantage. And birds came from when I was a little girl. I watched the movie Birds with my parents. And then also my father brought home baby chickens around the same time frame that scared me. So I have a fear of birds. I don't like birds. Like, they're okay to look at, but don't let them loose by me. How do I get in a store if there's a bird in there?
You like duck and look over your head, and it's like, what? Especially if someone's like if they say your name, if I'm like Diti, and then you're like, what? You go into panic before I even say.
Exactly. And I cover my head. Then, like, we've been in Walmart and the birds walking underneath the aisles. I'm
The
freaking
Statue of
out.
Liberty when they were flying over.
Yes. And then when they did that and we're high up too, no, I don't play that. No. So, like, I don't like birds. Birds, they bother me. Seagulls are the worst.
Oh, because they come flying towards you.
They have no respect. They come at you. Like, we were in Atlantic City many years ago, and my aunt thought it was going to be a way to get rid of them, and she threw something behind us, and they came over at us. We used to go to the beach in New York, and they come and grab your sandwich. Yeah, they don't care, so I don't mess with birds. And pigeons love to poop on my head. They used to poop all the time on my head. So birds know I don't like them, and they stick with that, and they don't like me. But again, that stemmed from my childhood experience of seeing the movie Birds, and then having chickens that traumatized me. I'm like, what the heck are these little things coming at me?
I used to be afraid of roller coasters before I went on mine, because I went to this carnival with my uncle one time, and he took me on this ride. It was like an upside down one, and I was really scared of heights. I don't know where that came from. I was scared of heights before, so I was scared of roller coasters, and that ride triggered me to not like them. So when I went on my first roller coaster, I was very scared, and then I got used to them, and now I love them.
See, and that's interesting, because one, you talked about the height thing, and you don't know where it came from, and that's funny, because that was when I was thinking about this topic. That was one of the ones that I have a fear, not so much of the height. I don't like being high per se, but not. I can be high up. The part of it I don't like, and I think maybe it's probably the same for you, is the fear of falling. Like, I can be high, but if I think I'm gonna fall from that height, that's what traumatizes me. And I was trying to figure out, okay, why do you have a fear of heights in that sense? Like, that you think if you go up, you're going to fall. And because I won't do roller coasters. Yeah. I'm scared of roller coasters.
I know I'm secure.
See, no. And that's my thing. For me, so if it's not above, like up to my top of my chest area, then I don't feel I'm safe. Now, roller coasters.
Like over the head, or do you mean just the strap?
Like that's what I was going to say. Roller coasters for me, no. It's a big negative, because I feel like there's no safety in that. The strap means nothing to me. I'm talking for a roller coaster. I feel like that can go off the track. I feel like it can, like, if I flip over, I'll fall out, whatever. So roller coasters is just not my thing. I won't do it. But the fear of the height part of it. So, like, I've gone on like Ferris wheels before, right? And they scare me because they look like they're going to fall. You know, when they're coming down, I felt like I was going to fall. And there were ones I went on that were low. Like, you sit in them, and it was low. So I feel like it's only coming up to my waist protection-wise, so to speak. So if I lean over, I can fall out. So that scares me. So, like, I think, and I'm not even 100% sure about this, but I'm thinking that my fear of falling stems from growing up and in living in apartments, and we always lived above the first floor for the most part until I was much older. My mom and just all the relatives would be like, don't lean out the window, you're going to fall. Don't lean out the window, you're going to fall. You're going to. So maybe that in my mind is like, anything that I can lean out, I'm going to fall. Because even on a boat, I can't go, like how people like to look over the edge of a boat. I can't do that if it's not high. If it's not covering up to like almost my shoulder area, then I feel like someone can come up behind me and just push me, or I can lean over and fall. When we were at the Statue of Liberty, that's why I couldn't lean over. That's why I was freaking out when you guys were picking them up and leaning them over. Like, that gives me anxiety, because I keep thinking somebody's going to fall. I'm going to fall. So I think that's what's always kept me from roller coasters, is that fear of falling. And now I just don't think it's exciting to do that whole flipping thing and all that. Like, there's no point. But I try. I mean, I did little roller coasters, and again, they scared me because I thought I was going to fall. Even like, that ride the boat ride that goes up
the
and
seahorse.
Yes. And as it goes up high like that, you know how you start feeling like if you're in one part where you're like leaning out almost like you're going to fall. That's how it feels to me. I feel like I'm going to die and I'm going to fall. So I don't like that. But the fear of falling, that's the only thing I've concluded, because I have a fear of being trapped. And that's why I think I get so panicky with the bugs, because I feel trapped with them. But I have a big fear of being trapped. And I've kind of concluded that the trap one comes from when I was a kid. We lived in a building with an elevator. And me and my brother used to have to go down and bring the laundry downstairs sometimes because they had like washers and dryers in the basement. And we would have to like go, my mother would tell us, go get the clothes or whatever it was. And we would go down there, and the elevator would get stuck. And then we'd be trapped in it for a little bit. So even though the elevator, like, I'll say I'm scared of elevators. It's not even I'm scared of elevators. Elevators really don't scare me. It's the idea that they can stop and I'm trapped in there and I can't get out. So I don't like being trapped. That's why, like, even I realize I'm not so much claustrophobic as I am just don't want to be trapped. Like, claustrophobia is like you're in a small area, you can't take that. The small area per se doesn't bother me as long as I can leave it. So like an MRI bothers me because an MRI,
because they tell you to don't move and you can't.
And you can't move and you are trapped because this stupid thing is like right above your head, like it's like inches away. And so you can't just pick up your head and go when you want to. Like, you're trapped in a sense. So I don't like that feeling of that being trapped.
I don't like when I was little, I used to watch like Inside, something like that. It was like a news channel, and it would always have,
Inside Edition.
Yeah, they would always have those intruder videos, and I would always be scared because they were always like, if you have a dog, the dog can bark and see the person. And I never had a dog, so I was like, oh no. So anytime I hear like a noise, like I think of the doors opening, I hear something, I always think there's an intruder, and it's so like triggering.
Oh, so maybe that's why you're dying for a dog, because in some ways your brain tells you need a dog to feel safe. Because I get it, like it's just weird things. Like I said, that feeling trapped, I don't like that. Like we're right now in a small room. This doesn't bother me because I know I can open that door. But if Robert was to come and hold that door or put a lock on the other side, or even if I knew there was a lock on the other side, then it would bother me. I wouldn't close that door because then I would feel like somebody can lock me in here and I'd feel trapped.
The window.
Yeah, but granted, yes, there's the window. You're right. But my mind didn't go to that. My mind went straight to the door. I need to get out that door. Like, that's why I don't do those. Like, there's a lot of team building things where they're like, oh, you trust someone, you drop to them or things. I don't like that. I feel like I'm like, if someone's holding me, I feel trapped. I don't even like being hugged too long because it makes me feel trapped. It makes me feel like I can't get out of it, Another fear I have that again stems from childhood is the fear of water. And I realized it wasn't even a fear that I had when I was really little because my mom took us to the beach all the time. And I went in the water and they always was like, be careful, you'll drown. But it was never like a fear. They watched us, we played, we did whatever. But when I became like, I want to say 11, 12, and I used to go with your aunts to the beach, they were much taller than me. And they can swim and I couldn't. So I would try to follow them out in the water and then the waves would knock me down and take me under. And then I started going to like friends' houses that had pools and they, my cousins would throw me in the pool and I couldn't swim. So I noticed those are the things that built up my fear of water and why I'm always like scared to go in water. I'm so bad with water after all those things that people laugh, but I've almost drowned drinking my water bottle. Like I like have a panic attack. One time water went, as I was drinking, it went down too quick, went up my nose and I was like, thought I was dying. And like, even in the bath, I take a bath. I won't let the water go beyond a certain height because I feel like I'm going to drown in the bathtub. So like that has really messed me up. And I was like, that didn't even happen when I was little. That happened as I got older, that fear of water. Whereas you don't have that fear of water. You go in water, you're okay. I can't have water in my face. Water in my face. I mean, granted, yes, I wash my face, people, but I'm talking about water just thrown in my face, like unexpected, right? That splashing, unexpected water in my face. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm suffocating, and I don't like that. So, what's another fear of yours?
When the war started with Ukraine and Russia, I was very scared of bombs.
I remember that,
because I heard about what's it called? The bomb that like kills
the nuclear bomb, atomic bomb,
yeah, something like that. And it was like if it hits the U.S., all of it could like just go. And I was like, what? So anytime I heard like a big noise, and now I think it's like I've like calmed it down. Right. But before it was like, oh no, there's a bomb or something like that.
I remember when you were really obsessing over that.
Planes too, when they come really close, I'm like, why?
Well, you talk about the planes. Your fear is based on that. My fear is from 9/11, which is coming this week. I remember after 9/11 happened, anytime a plane was low, I was like, oh, what's that? What's going on? And even a few years back at one of my other jobs, I was outside doing bus duty or whatever, and there was a plane circling that area, and there was never a plane there, and it looked pretty low. And I looked at someone, and I was like, why is that plane there? And their thought was, first they were like, that is weird. And then they were like, oh, maybe they had
landing. That's what people say.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be landing over there. It was a regular plane. It wasn't like a little whatever plane. Yeah. But the person was like, oh, it's probably like they sent them to Circle because they couldn't land yet because
Oh.
it's not far from the airport, but it's far enough. But I mean, I guess that made sense. But in my mind, right away was like, what's going on? Why is there a plane that close to us and in this area? You know, that's not something I see. But it's funny because you talked about like how you hearing about the news, hearing about that triggered you with Ty. When we first moved out here, they talked about tornado warnings a lot. And we didn't have that in New York. So that traumatized him where he would go in the basement every time it got cloudy outside and dark. He would go in the basement. And then when he had school and it was like that, he would have such anxiety that they would call me every time so that I can calm him down so that he understood that it wasn't going to be a tornado.
Yeah.
But then also when we moved out here, you know how the alarms go off. Yes, those sirens. In New York, those sirens meant you better run, duck, and hide. So when I first heard that out here, I'm like looking around like, what the hell is that? What's going on? Are they bombing? Like, you know.
That sounds like the Ukraine that when it goes off.
Exactly. And it's for like emergencies out here, like regular emergencies. Yeah. So I almost had a heart attack the first time I heard it. And my neighbor was like, oh, no, that goes off every week, you know, at this time. Plus, if there's emergencies. So now, it's normal. But at the same time, when I hear that and it's not the normal time it's supposed to go off, I always like try to check in on family and be like, are you okay?
I think it's regular because I've always heard it before.
It's 7:00 Mondays is regular.
I have no idea.
See, but the other times that usually means something happened. So it could be a fire, it could be an accident, it could be whatever. It's an emergency that they have to go to, and that's how they know.
I just thought they just went off.
No, they go off for a reason. But so that's why I'll usually text and I'll be like to people, are you okay? Are you good? And in the beginning, my sons were like, why you keep texting me that? But now they kind of got used to it. They know that I do that or whatever. I've even texted your mom it at times. So, I mean, it's just something like for me, because I feel like it's being courteous, especially if I see the fire trucks like going down towards somebody's house, that, you know, or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, our fears and our phobias come from lots of things. I don't think that we're just born, you know, with all these fears and phobias. No, they usually stem from something. Something's going to trigger. Speaking of triggering, with my oldest son, he, when he was little, I told him I was watching it, and I'm like, don't watch it. Don't come see it. You know, it's a scary movie. Well, being a kid, what do? They sneak and watch it. He watched it, and now he hates clowns. He's scared of clowns. I mean, now he's not so scared of them as much as he just doesn't like them. Right. But then I get on you with the Michael Myers. Okay. Saying, look, her face, guys, if you could see her face. But Michael Myers is a fear of hers, right? And again, from watching Halloween, traumatized her, I'm going to assume.
I don't remember that movie. I just remember him.
Well, right. And I know that. So let me give a little backstory about our family. We are a horrible group of people with people's fears and phobias. We like to take your fear and phobia and use it against you and torture you, sadly. I try not to do it other than Halloween time, okay? Which isn't good for Christina because that's her least favorite holiday, and that's where all the things that she hates are out, spiders and Michael Myers. So one year for Halloween, she was trick-or-treating. This is why the girl doesn't go trick-or-treating. So she was trick-or-treating, and this guy used to dress up as Michael Myers on the block, and he would walk up and down and just stare at the children and scare the hell out of them. Person. So she saw him and booked it, came running down the block to my house. Of course, me and her mother were laughing because the way she ran, it looked like a scaredy cat.
The guy was creepy.
He was creepy. And so then he stands across the street from my house, and he's staring because he saw her run into my house. Yeah. And I turned to him and I said, if you come across here, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah. Because
that was extreme to me. Like, you're not going to torture the child like that. Like, him walking up and down the block, it's Halloween time, whatever, it is what it is. But I'm not going to have him come and really, like, torture you like that. Yeah. Though I did send somebody online, and I did send a kid I knew to her house for trick-or-treating who was dressed as Michael Myers to scare her. I don't think you answered the door. And I did that because that's when you had got yourself in trouble and you weren't allowed to trick or treat. And I was like, oh, I'll get her. I'll teach her a lesson. She probably didn't answer the door because she's a scaredy cat anyway. So she's like,
probably just scared me and someone knocking at the door.
Right. But it was trick or treating time. You think you would have been.
No one trick or treats at my house. Don't leave candy.
So, no, you bring the candy in my house. Yeah. You guys give it out from my house. But so, yeah, so she has a fear of Michael Myers. And I do think that stems from watching the Halloween movie. Christina not listening when we say it's scary, don't watch it. And then she wants to watch it. It's just like KK. She wanted Chucky. right? She loves Chucky. She has it. She gets the Chucky doll. It stays in my house because she's scared to death of it. So, we think when we're little, we're super brave. And then we realize as we start getting older, these things start messing with your head and sticking around more and more. And I'm going to tell you, it gets worse as you get older. It doesn't get easier because I find that they stay messing with you more and more and more. Like I said, mine went from water bugs now to lanternflies and stink bugs. So, and those of you who don't know what those bugs are, if you don't like bugs, don't look them up. If you do like bugs, look them up. But yeah, I can't even look at some of them. So
thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thanks for joining us, and we will be taking a break because we're kind of running out of topics, guys, and we don't have a lot of listeners, so no one's giving us really advice of what to talk about, and so we're going to take a little break. When we're going to come back, we'll announce it. We'll put it out there on our TikTok and our YouTube page, but we're going to take a little break because with school and work, it's getting a little too much for us. So once we come up with some new ideas, fresh ideas, that's why we keep asking for you to subscribe. Let us know, that you're listening, that you want us to keep going, because we'll keep going. But right now, it's kind of feeling like we're just talking to ourselves, even though we don't mind, we enjoy it. But we are running out of ideas. So if you have some that you are really interested in us talking about, reach out and let us know, and we'll pick back up. So we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.